17 scoring shots to 4. That's the tail of the tape. And on Indigenous round 2014, the Australian of the Year, Adam Goods, with the Indigenous flag on his mouthguard there, has been on fire. 2 goals and did a lot of work early on getting the Sydney Swans going. Travis Varco, well, he'd like to have that one back again. He kept the ball in play when the boundary line was his friend and was punished accordingly with a goal to Craig Bird, who's been fantastic right through the course of the game. All right, boys, let's go into the war room. Come on, Cam, give me something. How can we get these Cats going again, buddy?
Okay, what do you think?
I think he's thrown the towel in, Ed. I think he's conceded they can't win tonight, which was a brave statement from you. But
a lot of pessimism a few seconds ago, wasn't there?
He's a flat man. He's a flat man, no doubt. Look, the story is the Swans and how powerful they have been. Let's talk about their forward of centre work and how it actually looks, Derm, and how they're able to get what they want. In terms of the matchups with the power forwards they've got down there, this has been the one thing for me. I think Franklin's played a selfless role tonight. He's taken Taylor out of the play at all opportunities. We'll show some vision in a moment as to what's that has actually done, and that's left Tippett in a really dangerous spot. He's been the main target. He's been targeted 13 times for a half of football for 4 marks inside 50.
You could almost throw Reid into that too. He's taken his players off the ground. Blitzstavs has been playing on him for most of the night, so it's left Rivers in that one out term. And look, and Mackey's been up and around. We know Goodsy's probably played more up around the ground as well. So from a Geelong point of view, you look at that and you just think, that is just too scary.
The other thing that has disappointed me is, and I know you want to support teammates and the likes, but whenever Blitzstavs has been close to goal, that player has definitely been targeted. He's done well. He's a novice at the game at AFL ranks, but he's been targeted. I reckon these 4 blokes have said, let's get to Blitzstavs.
They have. And the other thing at the stoppages, and we've seen Varco down there and Smets down there at time, when McVeigh or these players come right up the ground and get involved around the stoppages, they're not sure whether to drop back. We haven't seen any 2-on-1s tonight. We've seen genuine 1-on-1s down there, and they haven't quite picked them up at the stoppage. I want to show some vision here, Derm, to just explain exactly what we've shown and how that actually looks and how the billionaires are getting what they want. Let's have a look at the Sydney forward line. You can see here, there's Taylor. He's about to kick the ball inside the forward 50 for the Cats as we allow that to roll, which means Franklin's up the ground. He's taken him down there, Derm, and I've got no doubt the instruction is, if Buddy's on, let's get him the ball. There he is there lighting up. This is when I think he's at his best.
Oh, no doubt. If you have a 6'5" key forward who's able to run like that, there's no 6'5" key backman capable of holding him who can run with him.
But again, from a Geelong point of view, and this is where the Enright factor comes in, no one's sitting back there playing that anchor, just looking at everyone from behind, just saying, no, you go here, and I'll cut this guy off as he runs past. They've just completely lost that tonight.
Obviously, Buddy was having a shot there, Derm, just didn't quite make the distance. There's no way he could pass like that.
The one thing I would add to that also is that the Swannies have intercepted the ball inside their own defensive 50 18 times tonight. And of those 18, they've got into their own forward 50 on 10 of those interceptions.
Let's have a look at the stoppage here, high up the ground. There's Franklin and there's Taylor. They're disorganising this defence without Enright, Lonergan obviously not playing. Taylor up there. Look at the confusion in the background here. You can see confusion, players running across. We've got McVeigh in behind without his vision to roll. And you can just see what it does. It just leaves 1-on-1s everywhere. They are able to then force Dawson Simpson to fall back. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be caught in that sort of position. And that's why I think they've been so effective. They've created mismatches everywhere.
Well, every time Tippett's gone up the ground, he's either got a mismatch with the other ruckman, and then straight away he's recognised that and taken him straight down the ground and put Reid back into the ruck. So that's how they've worked that one out really well.
Look at that space there, Derm, to lead into for full forward.
Oh, that's Nirvana for a full forward. That's exactly what you want. I think it's young Blitzstavs again there. And you see how far up those forwards come? Okay, and he would have said, I've got Blitzstavs, leave me the space. So they all come up. They're all dangerous in their own right. But when he gets Blitzstavs, he says, you guys get out of here. I want this space.
Keep your eye on this. This is what's happened all night for me. Harry Taylor has been forced to run and cover the ground with Franklin, as we said. They've looked for him. I mean, he's a star. We know that. But they could have gone long, driven that ball in deep. Now, he doesn't mark this one. He's got a couple of metres separation there. He tries to take the chest mark. Doesn't happen in the end. But you knew what they were trying to do. They didn't get that achieved there. The very next play, we pause that again there.
See it there.
You can see it there, Moons. He has to commit to come with him, which means he can't get back here and create that 2-on-1 that the Cats do so well.
You weren't listening to me talking to some young forwards today where you must convince your key backman that you want to go at the ball. You must convince him. That is the starting point of any key forward.
Totally agree.
You have to have that bloke think you're going at the ball. And once you can convince him, then you can turn him around. But if you want to go that way first,
Most disposals that the Cats have considered in a half, Ed, 242. They're on song tonight, the Swannies.
They certainly are, Kingy. Good stuff there. Thanks to the boys in the war room. Let's go to Johnny Ralph now from the Herald Sun. John, round 11 continues tomorrow. You've got the ins and outs.
I certainly do. Now, no Chris Judd at any level. He's still a chance to play next Friday night against Geelong. Still think that would be a big risk, bringing him back through the AFL. Now, for a couple of other changes, Walker, Knee and Armfield both out for Carlton, but some welcome additions, Carrazzo and Mitch Robertson. Now, Justin Lepich, who, of course, will play Carlton, he's dropped 6 players, a lot of them youngsters, but still no room for Brett Maloney. All of Rockcliffe, Patfull and Maguire in. Vickery and Joe Danaher, the power forwards for their respective dream time at the G sides, both been dropped. Chapman, Winderlick and Marrick all in. No McAvoy hamstring, no Luke Ball, a calf. Colin Sylvia finally makes his debut after 10 weeks as a Fremantle player. And Matt de Boer out for 4 to 6 weeks with a medial. And just finally, Jack Frost has been named, should come back from that concussion to play against St Kilda tomorrow night. Possibly a match-up with Nick Riewoldt.
Yep, no problem. Saw him at training today. Trained well. Live from Etihad Stadium, you'll see that match-up tomorrow night. Nick Riewoldt and Jack Frost as St Kilda take on the Magpies at Etihad Stadium. That's St Kilda 16th, Collingwood 6th. The big game on Friday Night Footy. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the second half of the big game between the Swans and Geelong at the SCG, where the Swans are dominating. They lead by 48 points.
You're watching Swans Cats live in HD. This is Thursday Night Footy on Fox.
That's the bounce. And look at this, Sydney Harbour just looking magnificent tonight, and the Sydney Swans are looking just as good.
There's your
25
boat,
points. What's that?
There's your boat.
No, that's my tender. 25 points.
There's mine, the little one on the left.
48 points at half-time. Right, is there? What can we get out of this second half? I mean, really, for the Swans, it's all about putting them away now, isn't it, the Cats?
Well, that's what we assume. We assume they're going to really ram it home here. They've kicked a lot of points in their first half. They get better ball efficiency there. But also, we do want to see the Cats win the ball somewhere in the middle of the ground.
Proud team, the Cats have to fight back. Can Sydney put in the quintessential four-quarter performance?
With more uncontested possession and then use the ball. They can score quickly, but I think they've sewn this up, the Swans.
Yeah, they have. The Swans have just looked magnificent all night, running, as we said, off half-back. Reece Shaw's been fantastic. All the big guns are firing. Everyone's getting amongst the goals. Tippett's got 3 to this stage. Goods has got 2. And Buddy Franklin is running amok. Let's go back to the SCG third quarter action. It's the Swans leading by 48 points against the Cats.
Should have get it going here in the second half. Beautiful height in the bounce. Johnson with the classic clearance, but just that bump on Selwood as he was about to dispose of it. Parker has been a ball magnet tonight. Some foot candy by McGlynn, who now drives long to Tippett. Still no action on the subs. Cunningham of Sydney and Sheringham of the Cats still sit. Been no injuries in this game today. Simpson behind Tippett there. There he is, the big fella. Bird caught in the tackle. Mackie had the ball knocked out again. Fast hands Tippett. Parker, this way, that away. Got to go, Derricks did. Stolen Taylor. Counter-attack through the middle. Here go Geelong. Stokes, all he could do is get it around the corner to Murdoch. Once again went through his hands, not for the first time tonight. Franklin, as cool as you like, down the line with a ripping kick.
Sydney had 242 first half possessions. It's the most they've ever had in a half of football. It's an indication of how dominant they are. And Geelong, it's just a bizarre night. They're uncharacteristically making mistakes. They're going by 52% by foot, which is almost unheard of for Geelong. Maybe they're just having a horror night.
Maybe those 6-day breaks are taking a toll. Sydney, as you mentioned, BT, they've had 14 days in between games.
13 days.
13 days, and Geelong have had 2 6-day breaks. So maybe it is taking a little bit of a toll on them.
12 nights ago, Geelong were playing in Perth against the Fremantle Dockers, Richo.
Yeah.
And they've had North Melbourne in between that. Sydney have had no one with the bye. Guthrie penalised.
It's taking nothing away from the Swans. It's just been an awesome display tonight.
Good tackle. I'm not sure he had prior opportunity there. Tippett got bundled out of the way with a bit of a push. Once again, Parker was in there. Geez, a hard hitter, Parker, as well. Bartel, Simpson turned and found space and said, gee, I can kick it. Hawkins over the top, no good. Richards spinning pirouette out of trouble to Kennedy. Kennedy to Franklin. A little give to Richards, back to Buddy. He tries a party trick over the top that didn't come off, but they'll get another possession, I'm sure, here, because look at the red jumpers there.
Yeah.
6 or 7 jumpers onto 3 Geelong jumpers.
7 to 3 it was.
You'd feel like doing a head count.
Wow.
You'd want to stop the ground, and so they've got 2 extra players on the ground, Sydney.
Did you see that? Bird.
And when you break down the lack of break, well, maybe that's a big factor in this game. They're just running a lot harder, Sydney.
Nelcheski, Blitzar's nice grab, attacked it beautifully with the hands.
Lee, I know you would be the last person to make an excuse for this side, Geelong, because you don't have to. They're one of the greatest sides ever to play in, but surely the 6-day breaks catch up with you eventually.
Oh, I think you boys are very kindly making a few excuses for Geelong there. They do impact you, but they more impact you late in games and your ability to run out games. I think Geelong have just been really well and truly outplayed by a team that's been more committed to the contest, put better pressure on, and has transferred the ball better. Geelong have just been badly beaten so far.
And here's an example of the transfer. At least with the initial switch kick, not so much with the carry and break kick. Hanbury looking to get under a couple of Geelong jumpers there. Interchange action, given the footy's only a few metres away. Players love that when they don't have to run too far to come off. Big Derricks, just the 4 disposals for him tonight. Waiting for Mike Pike to come back into this side. Hanbury driving ball. McVeigh was the meat in the sandwich, and now Taylor once again still edging that kick into the middle. Stokes dropped an easy mark. Bartel with a little spearer, found Kelly. So this looks more promising for the Cats. Kelly now long and getting back Derricks.
Well, they were able to win the ball in their back 50, Geelong, because they had the extra number. Mackey and Bartel linked up, got involved, come through the middle. But then once you get it down the other end, now they've got to contend with a Swans loose player. It's not going to be easy to find a target there.
So here's Shaw. He's able to duck out the back of Selwood there and couldn't keep it alive, and he's really disappointed with himself there. And maybe the kicker just a touch.
On your point there, Richo, you're spot on. Geelong's going to be able to mop the ball up across half-back because of that spare number. That's where they need that composure. They can't just kick it long back to Sydney's numbers. They need to lower their eyes a little bit, hit up that short kick, use the smart footy and get some marks inside 50.
Johnson, little give to Hawkins. Hawkins' deliberate knockback in the face of goals was very unselfish. Murdoch with a dribbler across the face.
Does that a lot, Tommy Hawkins. He's got great awareness. If he can't take possession, he knows he's going to get tackled. He doesn't. He taps it out, and we've seen him do that a lot.
For the trivia buffs out there, this is the venue the Cats first won at in 1903. 2 VFL matches were played here that season. Geelong defeated Carlton and Fitzroy defeated Collingwood. I just wonder how they got here. Would have taken them an eternity. Here's Buddy. Had the ball on the string. It was like a yo-yo. Magnificent stuff. Reed also picked it up very, very cleanly. Kick across looking for Melcheski. Got the left foot, remember, wants to run on the left. There it is. Handball back to Lloyd.
Remember the old scoreboard up on the hill here, BT, at the SCG? That was built in 1903 as well.
Was it really?
Yes. It's a big year up here.
Good on your history, Richo. How do you think they got here? By boat, train or plane?
Why would Sydney be playing Carlton, Richo?
Well, there was a rail strike and they couldn't get down to Geelong, so they took an opportunity to transfer some games up here later in the year.
A rail strike?
A rail strike. It was.
Just off the top of your head.
And the following week, Melbourne played Geelong at Geelong and they got a boat from Melbourne down to Geelong, BT.
Hawkins limping off there. Not good news for him. Surely they didn't get a boat up to here, though, Richo.
They would have got a train up here, Brian, I reckon.
It would have been a steamer. It wouldn't have been going too fast. Gee, I hope Hawkins is okay down there. Looked like a bit of an ankle issue for him. Left ankle he's holding.
What's your gut feel down there, Lee? You're closer than us. Can you...
Yeah, you guys are spot on. It's certainly left ankle. The docs and the physios there just checking it out. Doesn't look too bad. He doesn't look in a heap of pain, but not good news at all. He's the only key forward. Not having a great night so far, but he's the one who could maybe stand up and take a couple of grabs. So important for him to be able to come back on the ground.
And Lingy, how do you think Geelong got up here in 1903?
I'm going to go with train BT, though. I've got no idea whatsoever.
Well, you can get us on Twitter.
Horses up, BT.
They could have ridden the horses.
Let's have a look so we work out what happened to Tom Hawkins. Look at the top of your screen there. And you see he just collided with Ted Richards.
Stood on the foot, I reckon, and rolled it off basketball style, does.
I think you have absolutely nailed that, BT.
Yeah, saw a
outside roll. Yeah, when you step on the foot. Accidental.
Give and go. This is better. The Cavalry, unusual kick, but he found the loose man in Blitzarves. Right in the middle, very slippery. Lost his footing, and now they've messed it up. Lloyd onto Reid. Reid onto Buddy. Went through the legs and bowled him. Taylor realised where his players were and did it very nicely.
They're struggling to run Geelong at the moment. Normally when you see Selwood get free and push down the ground, Richo, they get over that run going, but
Selwood had to go sideways into the middle because he just had nothing ahead of him.
Gee, that was a good kick to Mackie, and Mackie's kick was equally as good, right into the hands of Varco. McIntosh picks it up and trying to soccer out of mid-air Motlop. Comes back, has another go. Arriving is Laidler. Picked up Shaw, smother by Duncan, locks it in. So we've played 8.5 minutes and no score.
Pretty subdued
for Sydney.
quarter, isn't it?
Yep. Geelong just with the one behind in this quarter so far.
We've got loose players back at each end, so it's going to be a lot tougher to score in this second half.
Good crowding tonight here at the SCG as well. It's got a real buzz to it, this stadium. There's Lloyd. Nice kick back inside to Kennedy. Kennedy sets an opportunity for McVeigh. Just pushes Murdoch off far too easily. Chiseling footy inside, looking for the big fella in Derricks, but Rivers did well.
Marked it off his face, a little falcon, and then got it back. You'd have to say, just glancing at this crowd, we haven't got the official number through. This is a real success for me. Thursday night footy at Sydney. We worked our way out of the city tonight. A lot of people would have finished work.
What do you reckon? There's 25?
Yeah, probably a few more, Richo.
30.
Good atmosphere.
Yeah, the newsstand, the Bradman stand is heavily populated. So are the rest, for that matter. Really good signs. Here's Buddy. Lets it rip to an open goal square. And misses left. Just have a look at Tom Hawkins again with that ankle. You can just see here. I think he just stands on the foot of Ted Richards there. Maybe. And rolls over. Absolutely nothing else in it. So he's going to get that restrapped by the looks and try again. Ankles are one of those components that you can get going again on, Richard.
Yeah, you can often play with an ankle. You might be sore for a few weeks and get a little bit of pain relief and restrap them.
Bird's told to go. He wanted someone to come wide, but they did not come. Now, have a look at them lined up back on this side. Look at that. It is unbelievable. The players everywhere. Just to the left of Melcheski here, there are 3 Sydney players. Hasn't seen them. Gone up the middle to Reid with a nice kick.
Yeah, slow build-up here because Jim Bartel is just positioned beautifully.
Buddy with the double lead. Sorry, Richo. Buddy with the double lead then on Reid, and he wasn't ready for it, but he found Parker magnificently.
That shouldn't have happened, really. It was a very slow build-up with a loose player back. So to be able to find a loose player is probably not what Chris Scott would be after.
That's spot on, Richo. You can't have, when you've got those sorts of numbers back in your defensive 50, you can't let the Swans player be taking an uncontested mark.
So Parker to keep his good game going. 22 touches, and there's the strapping going under the Tom Hawkins ankle.
Chris Bradshaw, the doc.
Some stirrups and a couple of figures of 8 there.
I'm amazed that players that play today that don't strap their ankles pre-game. I thought it was always compulsory in the era you were running around.
Gee, Geelong missed another kick up coming out there. Mackey's kick is going to be out of bounds on the full as well. So they are really battling with their own minds at the moment, Geelong.
Tom's kick, Tom. Your kick, Tom.
Once again, a little man trying to take it off a big man.
You might have watched Big Dawson Simpson in the second quarter. Big Decker might have a go at this.
You can't go across your body from here, though, can you?
Malcheski's lurking at school.
Malcheski doing the Stevie J there. Come on, boys. Let these big guys have a crack at it. Derrick's to the top of the square. Reed, off hands. Johnson keeps it alive. So now they've got to go. Seld around the corner. No one home there. This is going to come back. Shaw back inside to Rampy. Loves the left foot. Strokes it beautifully. Buddy on the lead. Did well Guthrie. Mackey charged at by Kennedy. Dragged to the ground. In a very nice tackle. Motlop thought about kicking his own man's head off. In Guthrie. Thought the better of it.
How far is too far out to go across your body, BT? 40 metres?
I would have thought so, Richo.
Remember Paddy Ryder has nailed one from the 50 across his body.
Yeah.
Up in
he did too, that's right, he did too. And here's Goods running in for his third goal, Goods.
Made something out of nothing there to Sydney Swans. Adam Goods. 3 goals from only 8 disposals, and making the most of his time inside 50, and all being from general play. Hasn't had a set shot to kick one of those goals. 2 crumbing efforts and that one from a clearance. Just shows you how versatile he is. Darcy and BT have talked about that. How many players his size have been able to get goals from those sources.
So Goodsy gets his third goal, 54-point Sydney lead. Just the 1 goal kick by Geelong halfway through this third quarter. Staggering stuff. You would never have believed it. Pre-game, Hall and Smith. High footy. Just been out-hustled, out-skilled. Been more competitive all round. Have Sydney look fresher, sharper. This man here has been involved in every foray forward that you can possibly muster up here tonight. Tippett on the lead. Got a bit of a help from Rivers there.
Well, that's just great from Reece Shaw. He's the loose player, and he's not just content to sit back and fill up a hole. He pushes up and creates a number.
What's been interesting to me, Richo, is Chris Cox's demeanour. He's been very relaxed tonight. He's normally pretty emotive, and we've banged the desk a few times. To me, the most competitive animal we've ever seen. Chris, not resigned to the fact, but almost as this, you know what, we are tired. The guys are going to struggle a bit tonight. He's just working his way through it, I think.
Goods again. McVeigh snap. Misses.
I think he looks like he almost knows that there's not much they can do about it.
I agree with you, Das. Richo. He does look resigned to it, but he did his best to get the players up mentally with, you know, all the necessary talk. And
well, he could be wrong, and Scotty could be filthy with us,
and he might go right off in a minute. But I think he's a pretty, you know, I love about. I reckon he picks the moment really well, Chris Scott. I get the feeling he'll just say, "Won't even review this one. Put this one. They've baked enough wins already where you can afford to have a week like this, and they'll get straight back on track again the following week, Geelong."
Well, they play Carlton. I know it's early to be starting to talk about next week for them, but they play Carlton, St Kilda, Gold Coast, Essendon and Western Bulldogs, Melbourne and GWS. So they've got a run coming up that they would be really confident about.
And how many wins have they got, BT, coming into?
At the moment, they are on 7 wins, 7 and 2.
It's a great luxury these brilliant Geelong teams have had. They win early games.
Same time last year, they were 9 and 1.
Yeah, and then they're so smart at managing their playing group.
Look at that handball from Malcheski. A lot would say, was it a throw? But you can be sure players practice it and they get the faintest of hands onto it. Grundy worked it out. The give and go from Hanbury, top of the square. McVeigh and Lloyd sees it to the line. Have a look at the quick hands here. Unbelievable. It's very near a throw. That's a little flick pass, and probably in the rule book is a throw, isn't it?
Didn't get the fist clenched on that one.
Okay. Richo knows how to handball. Bird, not sure on where I'm going with that one, Richo, but Bartel burrows in and under. Selwood at the back, Reed again, quick little give. Had a bit of a fresh airy there, did Lloyd. Blitzarves. High footy, Tommy Derricks.
I reckon it was Adam Goods who cleaned up Joel Selwood. He's just having a look around just to see.
It was Darcy, absolutely. It was Adam Goods. You can see him going up to there, just checking on him, doing the right thing. But it was Adam Goods who got Selwood with a bit of a bump, and Selwood down for a little bit, but looks okay.
And he went up and apologised for that, but he did get the knock to the head there. So what, guys, what do you make of that? That's a bump to the head.
By the letter of the law, having left the ground and made head contact, he's in trouble.
Kick on the way from big Tommy Derricks. Has snuck home. Goal number 10 for Sydney.
Yeah, well done, Tom Derricks. Just set up the wall behind the football there and took a nice contested mark and went back and finished off. And he's been really good in the absence of big Mike Pike. He's had to take the #1 ruck mantle, and he's done it manfully. He's competed well.
So let's have a look at this again, Richie. Leaves the ground, makes high contact with Joel Selwood. Selwood's down, and then he goes over after and says, look, I'm sorry, Sel, didn't mean to do that. By the letter of the law, he's in trouble, but I hope this is where common sense applies, because the case he lands for is jumping for the footy. I think he didn't mean to make head-eye contact, but he did.
He didn't come off the ground to bump. His intention when he came off the ground was to win the football. So common sense will prevail.
And I think they may also say insufficient force there.
Exactly,
for a penalty.
And I hope you're both right, and that would be the right decision. But in the past, common sense hasn't always prevailed.
No, that is true. Look at that for a spearing ball from Jack to Tippett. And Tippett says, no way, boys. No, no, no. This is about me.
As it should be. Real fluffy do going at the moment. Kurt Tippett, doesn't he? Looks like he's got a perm.
Goal number 4 for Big Tippo. Starts the approach using the Indigenous branded footy from 50 out. Got it working left to right. Tippo's kick 4.
Yeah, great follow through on that kick. I like him a lot more from 50 than I do from 10 metres out directly in front. We saw him miss the first shot of the game with an absolute gimme. When he relaxes and kicks through it, he's actually got a much improved kicking action. And there's Chris Scott, who's almost resigned to the fact it's not their night tonight, the Cats.
Well, when we started tonight, he talked about this tall forward line and the worry that they may get on top. And 9-1 marks inside 50. Tells the story. The Cats can't find anything forward. Tippett's taken 5 of those, BT.
Cameron Ling.
Yeah, a bit of talk with Dane Rampy at the moment. The docs and the physio spending a lot of time with him. Left knee, heavily strapped. He's tried to jog up and down. In a little bit of trouble. They're deciding whether or not he'll go back on, but Harry Cunningham, the sub, doing a lot of warming up as well.
Okay, so Cunningham preparing to come on, and why not? We are at the point where they often do at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter, and they are at this very moment 67 points in advance of the Cats as the stroking Mel Chesky with a beautiful footpath to Bird.
Such a complete side, this Sydney outfit. They've got tough inside midfielders. They've got lightning quick outside runners. They've got such a solid defence.
50 metres. I think it's against Cam Guthrie here. Or is it Murdoch? Protected zone stuff, I think it was. Protected 5-metre area.
This is going to bring big Tom Derricks into range to kick another goal. And this, to me, is the only area with a little bit of concern. I reckon he's improving out of sight. This big boy, big decker, but...
Big Darrow, you don't like him?
No, look, he's young. He was probably their 5th in line in the ruck, so suddenly he's been turbocharged up to #1. They like to get Pike back, but I think we're looking at the best side of the competition at the moment here, City.
For a 73-point lead, big Tommy Derricks nails the goal for his second.
Yeah, nice finish to Tommy Derricks, and he's improving. He's been given this opportunity because of injury. He's making the most of it, and it's something that happens up here in Sydney a lot. They find players from other clubs and they get up here and they just seem to develop very, very quickly. I've heard about the culture, the Bloods culture up here that was developed years ago under Brett Kirk.
When we talk about smart, selfless little things, you saw Ben McGlynn go past to the handball receive there, knew that he was actually covered by a Geelong player, just said to big Tommy Derricks, no, don't give me the handball, instead of calling for it in a silly spot and getting tackled. Just a really smart little thing there from McGlynn. Derricks ended up getting the 50 and kicking the goal. And the Swans have made the sub as well. Rampy off and Cunningham on.
As McGlynn bursts out of the middle. Taylor doubles back. He'll want the boundary. His friend here left it inside the corridor. Gave him a chance. Blitzards recovers. Sharp handball. Bartel. Hall and Smith to Guthrie. Peels off at the last moment. Opportunity here for Buse to pump it out to Motlop in a one-on-one with Smith. Smith did well. Now Motlop looking for some Varco support. Never got it. Little hand in there from Laidler. Tried to keep it rolling. Didn't quite work for him. Stokes. Have a look at the Sydney players run for this.
Yeah, they're just simply getting numbers to the contest, running harder.
Canterbury composed even when tackled and swung in the tackle, still managed to get the handball off. Simpson did well for the big fella. Hall and Smith top one high from Lloyd.
The loose players have been dropped at the moment at either end.
Guthrie streaking through the middle of the ground, straightens, went for the little low bullet to Duncan. He couldn't pick it up. Now he spins out of the pack with a footy, immediately tackled. Lloyd's in there as well. He tries to extract. Nice nifty little hand from Blitzarves to get the ball out. So Geelong still just the one goal coming at the 15-minute mark of the second quarter. And other than that, she has been a no-goer in terms of goal. Hawkins might just change that, though, in the goal square.
Andrew Mackie down behind the play. It was Ben McGlynn who, I think it was an accidental knee in the kidney area. And then McGlynn went over to actually help him up. Yeah, you just see that. It was a genuine knee accident. He was trying to leapfrog him. McGlynn went over to give him a hand up, and Mackie was too sore to get off the ground. So he's coming off, I think.
First inside 50 here for Geelong for 16 minutes. Hawkins gave the ankle a little bit of a tweak when he took this mark as well. They'll line up to kick their just their second goal of the game. Tom Hawkins should kick the goal, and he does. And Geelong 67 down.
He looks pretty sore, Andrew Mackie. Doctor's trying to convince him to go off the ground. He's taking a bit of convincing, but that's a ripping corky. Hopefully just that. Hopefully not ribs or some kidney damage, but he's not in a good way, Andrew Mackie.
So trimming it back here, and Mackie is going to come from the ground. In fact, he's going to be carried in the end by the trainer, so that's got progressively worse as he tried to stay out there. Andrew Mackie.
Yeah, he's in a bad way, BT. Yeah, he was trying to stay out there, but as you said, it just got on top of him. Let's hope everything's okay with the kidney area.
Hadn't made their sub, and Sheringham will be their sub. And of course, I guess they would have liked to, probably towards the end of this game, taken Hawkins off, but that probably won't be possible now.
Pop off him, Luke.
So here is Mackie, and this is what happened. Oh, just an accidental knee.
Looks on the hip pointer, just above there. That's painful there.
Is indeed. Parker. Varco got him. Just had the awareness still to Cunningham. Out to McVeigh. A little rugby kick, advancing it through the air, and Jetta. Back inside, short ball to Bird.
Actually, a corky on the hip's worse than a big one in the quad, I reckon.
Sorish, you would think Richo, as McVeigh marks.
1 metre to go there, Matt.
So 2:22 and the third remaining here. Short kick comes into Franklin now. He'll want to run around on the left here. And there he goes immediately. Didn't see the Geelong 1-2 coming. Now bends it around. He said, I can still beat you. I knew you were going to come at me. from there.
Yeah, nice goal to Buddy Franklin. It's getting a little bit too easy now. Their ball movement and marks inside 50. Franklin was always going to come around onto the left. Got himself a little bit too close, but sold a bit of candy and went around and did it easily in the end. He's had a pretty solid night, Buddy.
Buddy with some really good skill, able to kick his second goal and take him on, even though they all knew he was going to run there, but he sold candy like no other. Mackie still in trouble on the sidelines as well. Doctor's very, very careful there, knowing what happened to Tom Lonergan, and they're checking that area. Let's hope it's more of a corky in the guts or in the hip point, as Richo said, than any other problem, but you can see they're really concerned about it.
Yeah, it's a fairly rare finger kidney injury. The Giants co-captain, Phil Davis, I saw him tonight at the SCG. He had a pretty nasty one that's kept him out for the entire year. As you said, Tom Lonergan lost one a few years back.
Grundy with an absolute one out of the barrel to Goods. And now Hanbury get back on the left. He thought about going for home, and then he saw Jetta out the corner of his eye. Buddy lurking. Taylor wrapped him up and pinned the ball to him.
Holding the ball, no genuine attempt. You've got to try to get it out, mate. No, I mean, you've got to try to get it out. Play on!
So there is Stuart Mackie. So they've done the test around the back end, and now the front end.
Andrew Mackie, sorry.
Stuart Mackie, of course, that guy that I coached back in the halcyon days of Paran and the VFA.
We walked past him tonight before the game. You said, hello, Stewie.
No, I didn't. I said, I always call him Stewie. And his name's Andrew. I apologise, Andrew.
Knew your players well, BT, that you coached?
I was going to tell you to shut up, Richo, but I won't do that. Parker. Down the middle to Buddy. Both hands on it, got it. And he lines up for his third goal. And he and Tippett have worked really well along with Goods tonight at this forward end.
Well, they've had plenty of opportunities because they've had 59 inside 50s just on three-quarter time. That's massive.
Kicked his 600th goal, his first goal tonight. Richo got there quicker than you. You went on to kick 800. How many for Buddy?
Well,
How many's got in?
He gets 900 plus. I reckon he'll nearly get to 1,000 if his body holds up.
And you think he'll play deeper as his career goes on.
Yep.
Amazing stuff. And that looks pretty damn good as well. He's got three. It's worked magnificently tonight. And with those three big guys up there, it's amazing on a small ground that they've found the space to operate.
Yeah, it is a comprehensive display. And the thing about Buddy's game in the last 3 weeks is I've really seen his marking come back, his contested marking. That's a contested mark there. And that's a real positive for the big fella, because his marking had gone a little bit astray earlier on this year and probably over the last 18 months, but he looks confident again. He's starting to hold them, and that's a massive sign for him.
There's always a bit of a concern or an unknown were he and Tippett going to actually work well together. They seem to have worked out where to lead. They don't get in each other's space well, and what it does, it separates the defenders nicely, doesn't it? They have to pay real respect to both of them, and they're both getting out.
Because their six forwards are all genuinely dangerous players, they're finding space because no direct opponent is prepared to come off.
Big decision being made there on Mackie. And by the way, Franklin has kicked the most goals of any current player in the competition. Just went past Matthew Pavlich's 601 goals. So a decision on Andrew Mackie the Cats will have to make here. And it'll be about preservation more than it'll be about winning, because Sydney lead at three-quarter time by a whopping 79 points as Sheringham gets ready to go.
This is a fight for the day.